In an ancient Greek book called the Testament of Solomon, there is a story about how Solomon overcame demons and made them serve him. The story is told from Solomon's perspective. When I was building the temple in Jerusalem, I noticed a young man, the son of the foreman of the builders. He was a very skilled worker, so I increased his wages and his food allowance above the others. However, despite this, I saw him becoming thin, weak, and pale. One day, I called him and asked if something was wrong. At first, he wouldn't tell me, but when I pressed him, he said, "I don't know if you'll believe me, O king, but something strange has been happening to me. Every night, when I go to bed, something comes and sucks my right thumb and steals my food. I feel it is taking away all my strength, and I believe it is an evil spirit." Upon hearing this, I returned to my thoughts and consulted the writings of the ancients. I prayed for a way to set the young man free from the demon's power. After some days, an angel came to me, bringing a ring with a stone. On the stone was engraved a figure called Pintala, and within it was the name that cannot be spoken. The angel instructed me on what to do with the ring. The next morning, I called the young man and gave him the ring, saying, "Take it, and tonight, when the creature appears, throw the ring into its bosom and say, 'In the strength of the name, King Solomon calls you.' Then rise and come running to me, and do not be afraid of whatever the demon may say." That night, at the usual hour, the wicked demon Orus came to the young man's chamber, intending to suck his blood and steal his food. But the young man remembered my words, cast the ring upon the demon, and said, "Come, for Solomon calls you," and immediately ran to my palace. The demon shrieked after him, "Boy, what have you done? Take the ring from me, and I will give you the hidden gold of the earth. Take it off, and do not bring me before Solomon." But the young man ignored the demon, ran into the palace, and called to me, "O king, I have brought the spirit as you commanded. He is there before the door, screaming and promising me the hidden treasures of the earth if I do not force him to come to you." I rose from my throne, went out into the courtyard, and saw the creature in the form of a flame of fire, trembling and shrinking. I stood over it and asked, "What is your name?" It answered, "Orus." I commanded Orus, with the strength of the ring, to reveal how I could subdue him. He told me where his abode was, how he afflicted men, and all that I asked. Then I sealed him with the ring and appointed him to cut stones for building the temple. After considering what to do next, I called Orus and gave him the ring, instructing him to bring Beelzebul, the prince of all demons, before me. Orus went to Beelzebul, found him on his throne, and said, "Solomon calls for you." Beel scornfully replied, "Who is this Solomon of whom you speak?" Orus cast the ring into Beel's bosom and said again, "Solomon calls for you." Beel roared and cast forth a great flame of fire, but had to rise from his throne and follow Orus to stand before me. When I saw him, I thanked the Most High for giving me power over the demons. I spoke harshly to Beel, and he promised to bring all the demons before me, making them subject to my commands. I appointed him to saw marble blocks for the temple's construction. When the other demons saw their master laboring like a slave, they were terrified. I then summoned many chief demons, one by one, and questioned them about their deeds, what diseases they caused, what secrets they knew, and how they could be subdued. After they answered, I bound them and set them to work on building the temple. The demons appeared in various forms. One as a beautiful woman with a donkey's hoof for a foot, another as a man without a head, with a flame of fire coming out of his neck, another as a large dog. I bound the headless man and the dog together, and the dog's flame of fire provided light to the workmen at night. There were also dragons, one with 3 heads and another with a man's head. Another demon had a face that shone with a green light, hair like serpents, and a body of darkness. Yet another was a dark man with shining eyes and a drawn sword, claiming to be the spirit of an ancient giant who perished in the flood. Some demons had no visible form, only voices. Over all of them, I had dominion and assigned them tasks: carrying water, making ropes, melting gold and silver and lifting heavy stones. With their help, the temple was built quickly, and I, Solomon, enjoyed great honor, peace, and tranquility in my kingdom. Kings and princes from all around visited me, bringing precious gifts, and my kingdom was greatly exalted. One day, while sitting on my throne in the palace, with Orus, the demon, standing by me, an old man, one of my workmen, came before me. He cast himself down and cried for justice against his son, who mistreated him, beat him, and plucked out his hair. I had pity on the old man and sent for his son. The son denied the accusations, saying, "I am not so wicked as to strike my father. I have done no such evil." I sent him away and called the father again, urging him to reconcile with his son. But the old man insisted on his son's death. Perplexed, I was about to judge against the young man when I saw Orus laughing. I asked him why he laughed, and he replied, "Forgive me, O king, it was not at you that I laughed, but at this wretched old man. He is plotting his son's death, but his son will fall sick and die in 3 days." I asked Ornias if this was true, and he confirmed it. I then told the old man and his son to strive for reconciliation and return to me in 3 days, providing them with food from my table. They obeyed and left. After 3 days, the old man returned in mourning, saying he had buried his son that day. I asked Orus how he knew these things. He explained that spirits can fly up into the air and overhear the decrees from the heavens about men's fates. When they fall from the sky, people mistake them for falling stars. In those days, I received a letter from King Adarus of Arabia asking for help against a venomous wind that killed people and cattle every dawn. He promised tribute and peace if I could capture the spirit causing the wind. I gave the letter to my chief counselor, saying, "Bring it to my remembrance in 7 days." After thinking about the matter, I instructed a servant to prepare a camel and an empty wineskin. The wineskin had the upper parts of the forelegs sewn up, with the neck open. I gave the servant the ring and told him to go to Arabia, where the venomous wind blew, and use the ring to capture the demon in the wind. The servant succeeded, and the wind ceased, earning Solomon's gratitude and gifts from the Arabians. Solomon then tasked the captured demon, Ephus, with lifting a heavy stone for the temple. Ephus succeeded and brought another powerful demon from the Red Sea to help him bring a great pillar. Fearing their power, Solomon trapped them in the air, where they remain holding the pillar, which is visible as a constellation, likely the Milky Way. Solomon learned that the Red Sea demon had opposed Moses in Egypt and helped Pharaoh's magicians. The demon was trapped in the sea until Ephus freed him. Solomon's kingdom prospered with the demon's service, but he later fell in love with a Jebusite woman who insisted he worship her gods to marry her. Reluctantly, Solomon worshipped Moloch, losing his wisdom and glory. He built temples to false gods and became a cautionary tale. Solomon wrote this testament to remind people to consider their end as well as their beginning. If you enjoyed this story and are looking forward to more amazing ones, please hit the like and subscribe button and let us know in the comments which country you are watching this from.